Hi, I'm Dimitri Mugianis. Welcome to Psychedelic Questions. I've been a psychedelic ceremonialist and practitioner and harm reductionist for over 20 years. I'm here to answer your questions.
So our next question is, if I'm in recovery, will taking psychedelics trigger a relapse for me?
Yeah, it's an important question. When we're talking about, any sort of psychoactive, or I think a lot of any medicine, any drug, there's different effects for different people. And then this is a very weighty issue that I think sometimes people have sort of handled flippantly. My first response would be maybe. And so when you say maybe to such a heady question of something that could potentially lead to someone's death, incarceration, loss of family and job, that's a hell of a thing. So what I would say is it really depends on so many factors, most of them individual. Now, I've been around this world for a long time, worked with a lot of people with active addiction and people in recovery, and it's the majority of people do not relapse. But have I seen relapse? Absolutely. People begin to think that the plants or the drugs take the place of the work or the process, and they simply don't. I'd also really look at how much sobriety you have in terms of years. If you're new in recovery, a year or two or three even, or you just got that with a sponsor or with other fellows, but those are real tricky times, right? That maybe it's just good to sort of ground or go through the process of the painful process of early recovery without those aids, because they are such an unknown force. And that's not to say we're not going to get people saying, I did early recovery, it was great. But I'm just saying that this is a serious question. The other thing to look at, and we have to sort of broaden the scope of what we call psychedelics. So for the purpose of this conversation, I'm just going to include MDMA and ketamine. The type of psychedelic, that's really important. If you're someone who has a stimulant use, who might want to, and you're in early recovery in particular, you might not want to take MDMA. If you've had a history of MDMA abuse in the past, you're not going to want to probably take it, right? If you're somebody who likes downers, right? Ketamine, you want to think about it. You want to go in there with it because it has that sort of warm, fuzzy feeling, right? And really think about that. So the type of psychedelics that somehow are related or adjacent to the drug of choice that brought you down in the first place, that brought you into recovery in the first place, or you've had a problematic relationship. The other thing is that, do you want to? 12 steps is a slow process, and it's an ordered process for a reason. The question is, do you want to accelerate that? Are you ready for an acceleration with the likes of DMT or something like that, that quick rush? And by the way, just smoking something out of a meth pipe for someone in early recovery, which is how you smoke DMT, might be triggering. And just, are you ready for exploration of early trauma, particularly sexual trauma, before you've been sort of firmly planted in recovery? And then the thing is, once you're doing it, if you're in it and you've had long-term sobriety, you might want to be really on the lookout for when this use is sort of leading you, if it is leading you into a dangerous place. And I think the way you do that, the first step is about, it says, my life has become unmanageable. So if you find that, you want to do MDMA or ketamine like several times a week and you missed an appointment, or, talking to your kid or whatever it is, your life's becoming unmanageable. If you're going to an ayahuasca ceremony, and you're sacrificing everything to get there, your life's unmanageable. So just, be on the lookout for unmanageability.
Cool. So I guess I have a couple of follow-up questions. One is, do you think that there is a set and setting element to this question of relapse? Yeah, that's the first one.
I think that's a great question. Yeah. Like, be really thinking about whether you want to do this at a club. Like, maybe ever. I don't know. But just thinking about it ever. I mean, I'm 21 years in my recovery, and I work my recovery, but I have yet to take a psychedelic in those 21 years at a concert, or that's my recovery, right? So yeah, set and setting. If it's just about doing some MDMA and rolling around in the park, you might want to look at that. It might be fine. I don't know. But I think that like sort of like the ceremonial or therapeutic use, especially early recovery, especially your first time fucking around with it, might be a really good idea.
Cool. And the other question is, since this is a separate question, would you want to say anything about psychedelics and recovery as part of this?
Yeah, there's a fellowship called Psychedelics and Recovery. It's a 12-step, 12 tradition fellowship, and you can find it online.
Great. Sounds good.
Hey, thanks for watching. Please like, and we're going to be posting this every day, so if you want to stay informed, please subscribe. Also, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks a lot.